Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we are continuing with our shirim on the Torah of the Gaon and the Tzaddik Rav Yitzchak Meir Morgenstern Shlita, the Yam HaChachma. And we're going to bring out the medicine that the Rebbe is bringing down to the world. Now we're going to be looking at a Maimer from Parshas Bo, Tafshin Samech Zayin. So this is a long time ago already. But at the same point, it's fundamental to keep in mind that every word of Torah that leaves the mouth of the Tzaddik Emes is not only true in the moment that it's said, but it's true for all of the times that come afterwards. That the words of the Tzaddikim, they emerge from a place beyond the Tzaddikim. The Chedushay Torah that the Tzaddikim bring down is the Nahar Hayotze Mi'eden. It's the river that flows forth from Gan Eden. And that river of light flows down through the mouth of the tzaddikim, the neshama of Moshe in our generation. And those words illuminate the world. They create the air of Gan Eden. This is the light of the tzaddikim that comes out of the mouth of the tzaddikim in the time of Rav Ravin. Rivers and rivers of light, Nahar Hayotze me Gan Eden, rivers of ratzon and hisorus and a desire to tshuva, and to goodness, and to yashrus, and to calmness, all of the good things that the tzaddik brings to the world, reminding us of how good HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. And when those words are spoken, it doesn't matter if the historical orientation shifts or the geographic location shifts. Time happens. But the eternal light of the words of the tzaddikim throughout all of the generations, the Yechidei Hadoros, the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu in each and every generation, those words are etched in stone, engraved in Shamayim to the degree that at any given moment they can be reaccessed in such a deep way that it's as if the individual saying them is exactly in front of us right now. Because that point in which the tzaddik enters into history to reveal Torah at that particular moment, that's an opening. Pasach Rabbi Shimon creates an opening of light that flows down from above. And that light, once it's opened up, it never goes away. There's no such thing as the departure of spirituality. There's an irreducible trace that's left. This is true for all of the tzaddikim. If we look at all of the svarim of the ma'amarim, of the admorim of Chabad, the Nesiei Chabad, thousands and thousands of statements about the Seder HaHishtalshalos and how Hashem is revealing himself. And each and every one of those ma'amarim was the point of entry through which the tzaddik, the nasi, entered in to encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. And the mental snapshot that the tzaddik takes is the hasaga. And that picture develops in a mimer. And once a person opens up a mimer, and they re-enter back into that mental snapshot of the tzaddik as to how the worlds were operating in that moment and how the shefa was coming down, when we enter into those words, that very same portal is opened up again. And so the same shefa and the same or and the same chayus that was embedded within the words of the tzaddik at the moment that he gave it over continues to unfold within a person's life, no matter what point they find themselves in, no matter how long ago the Torah had been said. The Kedushas Levi says that if a person learns the words of the tzaddik with intentionality enough, they're zoicha to taste of the light that the tzaddik themselves was zoicha to in the moment of giving over the Torah. That's Bal Hashmua Omed Kenegdo. And the true Bal Hashmua, who's the one who's really speaking when the tzaddikim speak? It's the Shechina. Shechina medaberes misoch grono. And so the avoida of bringing the words back to the one who said them, Kol hamevi davar b'shem omro, mevi geula la'olam. We bring redemption to the world. Why? Because the one who's truly speaking is the light of the Shechina that's memalel itself through the mouths of the tzaddikim, through the mouths of Nishmas Yisrael. And so what we're connecting ourselves to is the irreducible light of the Shechina that was illuminated in this particular moment of Rav Ravin, so that the Eitzos, Tamimos, Pshutos, the medicine that the Rebbe is revealing to us is going to be as vital in this present moment. And so the Rebbe here in this parsha is darshaning on the first pasuk, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe bo el Paro ki ani achbadati es libo ve'es lev avadav l'man shisi oisoisai ele bekirbo. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens up and he says, come forth to Paro. And the Zohar HaKadosh suddenly picks up on this discrepancy and asks, Bo el Paro? Hashem is telling Moshe to come forth to Paro. Lech el Paro mi baile. It should say, go towards Paro. Why? Because the house of Paro is the house of impurity, the palace of darkness. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should theoretically be pushing Moshe Rabbeinu to go from his place towards that palace. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is cajoling Moshe to go there. So it should say go there. But the fact that the Zohar Kadosh points out is that Boel Paro means that Hashem is already there. Hashem is revealing to Moshe Rabbeinu that I'm here with you. I'm here in the house of Paro. I'm here in that place of concealment. And therefore, you don't have to be afraid to enter into that place. Leichel Paro implies, I'm out here with you, says Hashem, and you have to go in. And that's terrifying for Moshe. Boel Paro means, Moshe, I know it's frightening, but I'm here already, so come and find me here. And in that way, Moshe Rabbeinu has the comfort to enter into that frightening place. The Zohar HaKadosh says that Moshe Rabbeinu was very afraid of entering into that place of Paro, that place of concealment, that place of struggle, that source of Hashem's concealment in this world, the Tzimtzum. It was Dachil Mineh, he was afraid. Moshe, sure, he understood that there's concealment in the world and that he could sweeten the particular forms of concealment. But to go to the source of concealment itself, to understand how negativity and concealment and struggle are fundamentally rooted within the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in such a way that it reveals the light also from that place. To do that, Moshe Rabbeinu was frightened. And so HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to take Moshe Idrin Basar Idrin, room after room, into the chambers of this worldliness to reveal to him that I'm there the whole time. Revealing how the darkness itself, the Tanin Hagadol, the serpent, concealment, Paro Harasha, Moichin the Katnos, sadness, Yeyish, all of those things, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is coming to whisper to us, I'm there, I'm there, I'm there, to soften the fear. And the Rebbe opens up and he points out that ultimately there's one thing that we need to focus on most intensely at this point in time, and we've touched upon this so many times, but it's the healing light of Pnimiyas HaTorah. A person needs to access the Torah of the future. The Torah of the future, the ancient Torah that's going to be revealed in the future, is no different than the Torah that we have now. It's no different than the Torah that's revealed to us right now, but it's going to be revealed to be a light of well-being and ease and or and tainug amiti, and connectivity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and a deep sense of knowing that all is good and everything is all right, and I'm okay, and you're okay, and the world is okay. And in spite of appearances, there's an inner burning light that shines forth brighter than any possible darkness. And that at any given moment, the person can enter into that place and choose to live from that place of Emunah and Tainug. That's the Torah of Atika Stima'a. That's the final revelation of Torah. We've gone throughout the grand total of history, we've gone through the various forms of Torah. The Pshat, the Remez, the Drash, and the Soid. But the Emek HaMelech says that there's a fifth level. It's not just Sod, which is the fourth level. There's the Nun, which is Pardasan Shel Tzadikim, the orchards of Tzadikim. And that Nun is Nishmasa de Araisa, Razin de Razin, the secrets of secrets. What's the secrets of secrets? What's the Torah of our generation? The purpose of this worldliness that brings about redemption. It's the healing light of Pnimiyas HaTorah that shows how down below in the lowest imaginable places is equally present in the face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as up above in the highest imaginable places. It's a Torah that's no longer concealed in a levush. It's not contained to the places of feeling that I'm operating really well and therefore Hashem is with me. It's revealed that even when I'm not operating really well, Hashem is with me. It's the revelation of above and below being equal to the innermost point of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light, the light of Adam Kadmon, that extends through the world of Atzilus down into the worlds of Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya, unifying that which appears to be paradoxically separate from one another. Unity above, concealment below, but somehow, some way, the Torah of Atika Stima'a, the healing light of Pnimiyas HaTorah, as it flows forth throughout the generations, is the ultimate purpose of this worldliness, is what we need to uncover in our lives, in our Torah learning, in our Avodas Hashem. In our davening, we have to learn how to uncover the innermost point of connection that rests underneath all of the garments, all of the heavy garments that seem to conceal it. Nevertheless, we have to affirm and reconnect ourselves to the belief in the Razin of Torah that have not yet been revealed. We haven't yet revealed the Razin, the secrets of secrets. And this ultimately, says the Rebbe, based on the Emek HaMelech, is what redemption is dependent upon. And whenever there's a clear direction, whenever it's clarified what we need to do to uncover Pnimiyas HaTorah, to live with that innermost light of Razin, that wherever I am, there you are, Ein Oid Milvado, Leis Asar Panamine, Toiv HaMuchlat, the goodness that abides at the core of all appearances otherwise. Anytime that such a light of Geulah begins to be secreted, so the concealment that stands in opposition to the revelation of light is also going to strengthen itself. And this is Paro and the Bechor of Paro. That Paro, the hither side of light, sees that Razin Da'iraisa, the Das of Moshe Rabbeinu, is going to be revealed in the world. And Paro comes along, the Reishis Aklipa, the first concealment that we encounter whenever we awaken ourselves to what we're trying to do in this world. And it comes to Hachlish Daisam Shel Bnei Yisrael, to make us feel weak, to make us feel incapable, to make us feel like it's impossible for us to fully grasp the innermost point of Torah, to grasp the Razin Da'iraisa. But ultimately, as Rabbi Nachman explains, says the Rebbe, the main thing that a person has to continue to do, the main way of encountering redemption in this world that's like a garden of trees, is to water the trees with the waters that flow forth from the ascendant fount, the Nachal Ha'elyon of Razin Derazin, the secrets of secrets, not just the secrets, not just the language of secrets, but the secret that rests within the language of the secrets, which is that everything is good. Everything is good. Chok hatov lahetiv, that ultimately the fundamental motivating force at the core of all expressions of existence, from the most particularized particular to the most grandiose general klal, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to bestow goodness into existence, the greatest goodness that can possibly be conceived. This is where we have to draw the light down from the Razin Derazin, so that we can come and return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a true way. But the other side and our negative perceptions about ourselves, it comes and it begins to whisper in our heart a weakening language, a self-doubt, the struggle, a lack of belief in self, a whisper that tells us that it's impossible for us to truly merit this light of the holiness of the Torah, the secrets of secrets. And therefore, when a person begins to feel this weakening, when a person begins to feel chalisha sadas, that I can't do what I set out to do, I'm not going to be able to finish the mission. So in that time, a person has to remind themselves over and over and over and over again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been with me until now, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be with me from here on out as well. Even though I feel I can't do it, even though I feel I can't go on, even though I feel that I'm not shaykh to the light, nevertheless, a person has to look back on Yamim Kadmonios and realize Hashem was with me yesterday, the day before that also, and He's going to be with me now as well. V'lo nasan l'mos ragleinu. Gives us the light of Chizuk, the light of Rabbi Nassan. This memory that a person has to consistently reawaken and respark within themselves is the holiness of the Bechor. The Klipa of the Bechor tells me that I'm worthless and that I can't do it. The Bechor, the Kedusha, reminds me over and over, each and every person, numerous times a day, that Hashem is consistently taking us out of constriction, consistently bringing us out of exile, consistently performing miracles upon miracles of grace and kindness, and redeeming our souls in ways that we have no idea. That I'm not going to have Chalisha Sadas because Hashem has helped me in the past and will continue to help me. And the same is true with a person's internalization of the words of Torah that they're trying to live with. That they have to whisper to themselves that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given me compassion until now, according to my level, to be zocha to what I've been zocha to. And now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to continue to help me. I have to push forward into the chelek. I have to believe, we all have to believe, that the chelek of Razin Da'iraisa and the tachlis of being Megala Razin Da'iraisa to ourselves internally, to allow that water to flow forth within the self, that I can. Even though I feel I can't, I can. And how do I know? I was able to before in the past when I also thought I couldn't, and I could. So now when I feel I can't, I can also assume that I can as well. The question is, says the Rebbe, why can't a person tap into this? Why can't a person tap into this confidence rooted in the fact that if I'm looking from right here to the future, it feels like I can't. It feels like I can't continue. It feels like I won't continue. But why can't we look to the past and judge from the fact that we've had successes in the past and that we've been able to have breakthroughs in the past and that Hashem has been with us then and there's no reason He won't be with us now because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a Bal Chesed and Barachamim Rabim. He's going to collect us over and over by way of compassionate mercy. What is it that blocks us from looking at the world in this way? So says the Rebbe, It's the Eitz of Paro, it's the Klipa that comes to block the mind. It's the Bechor, the Klipa, that blocks the person from truly contemplating this truth, which is that Hashem has always been with me. It causes us to forget that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has always been with us. It causes us to forget the narrative. And it places us in this self-centered position where I'm wondering, where's Hashem? Because I'm assuming I've been without Hashem ever. Paro forgets, he causes us to forget that it's always been Hashem. That Hashem has been with me in the past and will be with me in the future. He's always being mashpia shefa de kedusha me'otzer hatov. Because if a person was truly looking and contemplating the chasadim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the compassion that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has shown upon each and every one of us in accordance to our own particular levels, then we would come to recognize He who spoke and created the world. We would come to associate ourselves with the light of Eke Asher Eke. We'd be able to see with our own eyes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. And He's always been with us. And it's always been like this. But what happens is that a person begins to fall, God forbid, into yeyush, into hopelessness, as a result of this paro de klipa that tells us that we don't have shaykhs to this innermost light. And in the midst of our avodah, we begin to feel that we're not going to be able to finish it. I'm not going to be able to make it up the mountain. Like Rabbi Nachman says, that we have to imagine as if we've been fighting our whole lives to climb up a mountain to get to the door. And suddenly, when we finally put our hand on the door, we see a spider web there, and we turn back around and say, no, I can't open it. Rahman al-Itzlan mehaidaisa. We have to push on through to the other side, break on through to the other side. Not to feel that I'm overcome by yeyush in the middle of the journey, or that I can't do it, and that I can't truly uncover my chelik and my nachla and the Torah, and that I can't be illuminated by the Torah. I can't be illuminated by the aspect of the Torah of atika stima'a, the illumination of the future, which is the recognition that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always with me and has always been with me and will always be with me. And the secret of Ani Hashem lo shinisi, Ani Hashem lo shinisi, Ani Hashem lo shinisi, that the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu before the creation of the world, during the creation of the world, after the creation of the world, has always been there and will always be there, and there's nothing but Him. But a person forgets and falls into yeyush as a result of this. A person has to fight this. A person has to fight against the klipa of paro, against this klipa that causes us to forget about all of the expressions of chesed and rachamim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been shining forth in our lives, each and every moment. Because when a person forgets about the goodness, when a person forgets about who they truly are and where their soul is from, when we begin to forget how present Hashem has been in our lives until now, so then a person truly stops themselves from being able to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to truly come face to face with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and daven from a place that's true in the heart. Because we're assuming that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to hear our voice. We're assuming that He hasn't been there for us until now. Why would He be there for me now? But that's because Paro is blocking our mind from seeing that, no, He's always been there. He's always been there. He's always been there. And He will always be there. Always been there and will always be there. Haya hoyva was there, is there, and will always be there. And therefore, a person has to fight against the klipa of Mitzrayim and the bechor of Mitzrayim, which is this klipa of the mind that causes us to be miyayish, that causes us to feel that we can't do it. And as a result of that, what emerges is the kedusha of the bechor. Kadosh li kol bechor, that what's awoken within the mind of the individual is the ability to contemplate and to recognize the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to become grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to begin to seek out the face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu from within the goodness, to scream out about all of the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has bestowed upon us, begashmius uberuchnius. And as a result of gratitude, we enter into the strength to enter into the secret of Eke Asher Eke. You were with me then, and you'll be with me in the future as well. Even though I don't know how it's going to be, I can trust that it's going to be good. And I see and I contemplate how HaKadosh Baruch Hu has helped me until now, and He's always helped me. And this is what gives me the ability to continue with the belief that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help me. Lamala milamala mitam v'das. The opposite is chametz. Chametz of the mind is the klipa of the mind. It's the anger of the mind. It's the constriction of the mind, the heaviness of the mind. The sa'or shabe'isa, the drives that bring a person down and keep us stuck in yeyush. Matzah is the ability to fight against the klipa, to fight against the yeyush, to fight against this sense of overwhelm, and to break on through to the other side and to stand strong and to be mamshich in the derech of or. To be mamshich in the derech of or. Sagt the Heilige Rebbe, the matter is as follows: that when a person wants to enter into Avodas Hashem and merit expansive consciousness, moichin the godless in Torah, in Avodah, in Dveikus, in connectivity, we want to live mitzad the soid. We want to live with the Torah Vatikas Tima'a, with that deep sense of well-being that emerges from that singularly powerful secret of Ani Hashem Lo Shinisi. Ani Hashem Lo Shinisi. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's the same Hashem. Hashem is everywhere. The same Hashem that's invisible in his infinite light, that's beyond comprehension, is ever present in each and every moment. Ani Hashem Lo Shinisi. That's the Torah of Atikas Tima'a. When a person wants to enter into this moichin, the godless, to free themselves from the constricted states of anger and sadness, to enter into the light of the Torah and dveikus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way it works is Hashem doesn't direct us directly as to where to go. He doesn't tell us exactly the direction to go in. He just says, Boil Paro, take a step. You're going to have to confront Paro in order to get to that place of greatness. There's no direction for Moshe as to how to get into the palace of Paro. It just says, go towards Paro, come towards Paro, come forth towards Paro. It's a nondescript instruction, a non-specific task that is laid upon the person, which is nothing other than the hischazkus of strengthening oneself and believing the kedusha that I can, because that's the slaughtering of the klipa of Paro that says that I can't. It's not revealed to us in a clarified way from above how to enter in or what we need to do. Rather, we begin to sense a certain sense that I can't do it. The words of the Rebbe. When a person wants to merit to enter into a place of expanded consciousness in the Torah and connecting to God, it's not revealed to him explicitly from heaven. All that emerges is the sense that I can't do it. A person encounters a blockage. A person begins to feel that I can't. And Yeush begins to creep into the picture, and sadness and Marish Chayr and all of those difficult things. And all that a person hears is Bo El Paro, Bo El Paro. There's a beckoning voice of Kedusha that's calling out from the concealment in the world, saying, come closer, come closer. I'm here in that place. You have to slaughter Paro first. We're stirred, we're awoken, we're seduced into that place, but we're not told what we need to do or where we need to turn. We're simply exposed to that reality of Bo El Paro. And the Zohar HaKadosh says Moshe is afraid of this. But at that moment, it's forbidden. It's forbidden for a person to give in to that external voice of Bo El Paro, of the klipa of Paro, to go into Yeush and to go into the Tanin HaGadol and to fall into the biggest klipa in the world, which is what? Which is the one thing the Nachash wants, which is hopelessness from us, which causes inactivity and a cessation of our spiritual activism. This is what Moshe was afraid of. Person begins to grow in Avodas Hashem, and suddenly they're hit by a general sense of I can't. It doesn't even matter where that sense emerges from. And on the external level, Paro in that place wants us to be miyayish, wants us to feel that we can't do it, that we can't fix anything. And the Ikr Nakuda is to become like Moshe, that listens to the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's coming forth from the house of Paro, to connect to the light of holiness, to connect to the light of illumination. When a person feels that they're unable to enter in, person begins to fall into the klipa of Paro. Person allows their mind to begin to think that I can't do it, I'm not strong enough, I don't feel it enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm too worried, I'm too overwhelmed, I'm too this, that, or the other thing. So then a person begins to enter into the territory of Paro. And when we fall into that place of Paro, we fall into Pera. Paro is the letters of a negative mouth. Negative mouth, a negative scent of emptiness. Emptiness. That sense that I'm not going to be able to be successful in Avodas Hashem, that I won't be able to climb up the ladder of Avodah, I won't be able to merit the Torah of Atikas Tima'a. I won't be able to move forward. And in that place, what a person has to do when they enter into the place of Paro, when our mind is telling us we're not going to feel anything, the Rebbe says that what a person has to do is they have to accept upon themselves in that place. You're right, I might not feel anything. I might not feel anything. I have to jump in. I have to jump in no matter what. That's the Eitzah, Bo El Paro. Go into that place and say, okay, I'm not going to feel anything. I'm not going to feel anything. That's fine. Because the Torah is only truly acquired by an individual who agrees upon himself to throw himself into a place of Misa, of not feeling anything for the sake of the service of the king. And it makes no difference to me whether I'm successful or not, or whether I grasp something or not in my Avodas Hashem. That's not what this is about. I'm choosing Avodas Hashem because I want to enter into that place of darkness and paro and to reveal that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there by way of Mesiras Nefesh. Like the pasuk says that umeshachra yemtzeuni, those whose faces become darkened will find me. That anybody whose face becomes darkened in their process of searching out divrei Torah and searching out HaKadosh Baruch Hu to try and find the Bas Melech within all of the unfeeling sense, it feels like a darkened path, but in the end of the day, the light is going to be illuminated there. As long as we are willing to encounter the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're not afraid by Paro's claim that says you're not going to feel it ever, you're not going to be able to do it. We say, forget that. I'm going to do it in spite of the fact that I'm not going to feel it. When a person strengthens themselves, says the Rebbe, and girds themselves to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the place of the Torah, to the place of the revelation of the secrets of Torah, of Atikas Tima'a, which is a Torah without garment, which is a Torah that reveals the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu everywhere, Ani Hashem lo sinisi, the Torah of Atzmus Elikus Kavyachol, the Torah of the essential light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We run in, and even though we're not going to feel anything, we decide to be Moser Nefesh, and that's how we destroy the Bechor of Mitzrayim. And from the place of hopelessness, we begin to recognize the goodness and the chemla and the compassion that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has shown us until today, and that Hashem has always been with us at each and every moment. And even though and even though I don't know what's going to be in the next moment, and that's when the chametz begins to fill my mind with all sorts of yeush and concealment and fear, person has to dig down deeper and enter into the place of v'lo yireh lecha chametz v'lo yireh lecha sa'or b'chol gulecha. We can't allow those negative thoughts of despondency and hopelessness and anxiety to block us from the path of moving forward. We have to slay the Bechor of Paro. We have to enter into the Bechor de Kedusha, which is the Azaz de Kedusha. Confidence in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that it doesn't matter. You've been with me and I'm going to be with you. Every person has to go through this. Every single person has to purge their mind of chametz, has to get rid of these negative thoughts. And we have to battle and we have to engage in a strength that enables us to overcome the Sitra Achra. We have to think holy names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to purify our minds by contemplating the Shem Havaya, to clean out the mind and to retain control over the mind, to realize that we're the Balabayas with the help of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that we could be Miyashiv, our Das. We have to go to battle for the sake of transforming our minds, our clouded minds, into a Moicha Chavira Kekaspa, a mind that is refined as the supernal whiteness of revelation. To be like tzaddikim, to have the mind of a tzaddik whose mind is purified and clarified, and there's no negative thoughts that enter into them, and there's no foreign thoughts, and there's no distancing, but rather their machshava is always connected to the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what we have to enter into. This is the light of Atikas Timah, to have a mind like a tzaddik, a calm, cool, and collected mind, the stillness of the mind, a tzimtzum of the seichel, a removal of all of the overwhelm, a strengthening of the borders of the mind through the shemos, the sealing of the world, sealing of the body, and to capture the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in there, to hold that light of the machshava tahira, not to be dissuaged, not to feel that we can't do it, but rather to taste it right here, right now, and to realize that not only can we do it, but we're doing it right now. It's like the Heilige Rebbe Now, it might sound like we're saying that a person should never have any foreign thoughts, or a person shouldn't be stuck in negative thoughts that might emerge, like the Baal Tanya says. But the Rebbe continues and he says, it's not just that, it's not that those thoughts will enter in. Sometimes there are those thoughts that are going to enter in. Sometimes a person is going to have those machshavos of Yeyush, for all of the reasons that each and every person might feel their machshavos of potential Yeyush, God forbid. And a person can't be sad as a result of that. A person has to realize that that's the Ikar Avodah. I have to overcome it over and over and over. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking you out of Mitzrayim each and every day, each and every hour, each and every minute, each and every moment. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking me out of Mitzrayim. Lo yisin eflos gedolos levado kilei lam chasto. Mi Mitzrayim ge'altanu, mibeis avadim, pidisanu. Over and over. And so it's not to think that there's not going to be any thoughts of Yeyush and smallness. Adarabah, the job is to be metchazek when we encounter those things and to realize that I have to transform this into a revelation. So the Rebbe says in the name of the Heilig Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh that there are times where even the tzaddik has machshavas zaros that enter into their minds in times of tefillah and dveikus. And there's a purpose to it. It's so that the tzaddik could engage in fixing those souls that can't fix themselves. The secrets of the tzaddik and the rectification of souls. But the moment that a thought like that enters into the mind of the tzaddik, they elevate it back up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They see where it's coming from. They see that it's not separate from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they're able to elevate it back up and rectify it. And this is in truth the only distinction of the kavanos, the Kabbalistic intentions that the tzaddikim daven with each and every day, each and every tefillah, is just how to grapple with these various vagrant thoughts of Yeyush and all sorts of different things that enter into the minds of each and every person. That's the orientation. Each and every day has a new space of tefillah because we're encountering new thoughts that we have to overcome and elevate. As each and every day brings with it the clarifications that need to be completed on that day and that day alone, and the things that each and every one of us have to elevate. This is true for the tzaddikim, and it's true for each and every one of us. That all of the thoughts that enter into the threshold of our minds in times of tefillah or avodah, we can't be overwhelmed by them. We can't be sad as a result of having those thoughts. We can't say, oh, Paro, you were right. Adrabah, we don't care about those thoughts. I see them, I nod my head at them because it's funny that they're there, and then I turn my head back to the avodah and I return back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I have to think about the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I have to fight fire with fire. I have to contemplate the Shem Havaya. I have to contemplate the Shem Tespei, Yud Hey. I have to contemplate the Shem Elokim. I have to contemplate the Shem Adnas. I have to contemplate all of the names of Hashem. And in that way, I restore my mind to that purified, rarefied space in which I enter into a place of being a kli ro'i for the Torah of Atikas Tima'ah, for a light of well-being, for a hashras ha'elyon al atachton, for the recognition that Atzilus is due, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here with us, right here, right now, at the core of whatever it is that we're going through. At the core of every single thing, especially in the places that we don't think He's there, He's right there. We just have to dig down deep in and connect. And so it turns out that someone who's still stuck with these thoughts, instead of feeling, oh my God, I'm still on this level where I'm feeling these thoughts, it's usher to be miyayish yourself and say, oh my gosh, it's taken me so long to try and get over these thoughts and I'm still there. Adarabah, ibcha mastaber, that's the avodah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from me in this moment, to overcome the chalisha sadas. Adarabah, we shouldn't have a weakening of our minds and a painful orientation by dint of the fact that we're still struggling with these thoughts. Because the very fact that we're struggling with these thoughts and we're engaged in a holy battle against these thoughts is bringing the deepest level of pleasure to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the matmanim, the pleasurable fragrance and smell that emerges from the battle that we engage with in concealment down here, Bo El Paro, to go into the places that we're afraid of going into, to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu there as well. Because in truth, the essential form of chametz of the mind is the hopelessness that a person experiences when they become hopeless in themselves and their ability to connect to the light of the tzaddikim, and they feel that only the tzaddikim in the original generations were the ones who would have been meritorious to the light of such a profound light of Torah and well-being, a Torah that the entire redemption depends upon. But us, we're so far from the holiness of the Torah, how could we possibly have any access to a place like that? Those are the words of the Rebbe, meaning to say the Chalishas Hadas is when we're miyayish on ourselves, when we feel that we're not roi, when we feel that it's not real, when we feel that we have no shaykhs, when we feel that our best of intentions are just our own imaginings and the places where we know we struggle are our real selves. That's the yeyush, that's the darkness. That's forgetting about the chesed and the rachamim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has shown to us over and over and over. Every moment is an ace. This is the Iker Chametz. And we have to battle it with all forms of force by way of matzah to enter into the place of Aziz to Kedusha, V'yigva libo b'darchei Hashem, to recognize, Rebbeinu Shalom, I have a neshama shenasat bi tahirahi, and that I'm a tzaddik, and I can be a big tzaddik, and I can rectify the whole world, and I can bring Mashiach in my own personal way. Each and every person has to ensure that they're not ma'akev the Nakuda of Mashiach from emerging within themselves. And the thing that blocks the Nakuda of Mashiach from emerging is the yeyush that we have on our Nakuda in Mashiach. Memela, the Aziz to Kedusha, the Boaz, that koyach of brazenness and ignoring the falls and standing up strong with confidence and doing tshuva from a place of confidence rather than shame, that's going to be the holiness and the brazen holiness that we have to learn. Because Klal Yisrael are ultimately the Azeh Panim de Kedusha. We have a brazenness to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to feel good in spite of anything else that's going on, to be joyous even if we're not feeling joyous. This is the Aziz de Kedusha. This is the Aziz Panim de Kedusha. The Jewish people are the most stubborn of all of the nations. And we have to have a gaiva de kedusha, on the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has breathed his air into me, kavyachol. That the breath of life, the ruach chayim, there's a ruach that moves through each and every individual. And the closer and closer we come to the days of Mashiach, says the Rebbe, the easier and easier it is for us to merit, to grasp this Torah of Atika Stima'a, the ancient concealment of above, that's going to be revealed in the future. And it comes and it brings redemption to our souls, to our spirits. It lifts us up. And the essential thing is that a person should not allow themselves to lose hope, should not cause themselves to fall into hopelessness, God forbid, should not make themselves hopeless. And even though we don't know where the path is going to come from, and when the path towards light is going to emerge, how we're going to connect to Hashem, how we're going to bring redemption, even though we don't know, nevertheless, this is exactly the derech of bringing redemption. Not knowing the derech is the derech. Not knowing the derech is the derech. The battle for a derech, when we have no derech, is the derech. That's the derech to Geulah. That's the Boel Paro. You don't have a specific way of getting in. You're just going to get in. Go in. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, Boel Paro, come forth to Paro. I know it's scary. I know it's bleak. I know it seems dark. I know there's Yeush. But come forth to Paro, and Hashem doesn't illuminate for him or reveal to him a particular path in which he's going to come, in which he's going to be able to access these lofty lights of the Gimel Rishon, the light of Reish Loas Yada, which reveals how above and below are revelatory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. But Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't care. He strengthens himself, even without being shown the way, even without being shown the path to take. And he is willing and agrees to throw himself with force for the sake of the Torah and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because in order to merit the light of the Torah that brings comfort, the Torah of Atika Stima'a, a person, like we said, has to agree upon themselves to enter themselves into a place of the death of feeling, of not feeling anything, of letting go of any validation, to unify the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu each and every day, at every moment, to give themselves over with every aspect of the heart, with every aspect of the soul, with every aspect of the self, to connect to the Yechida Shebenefesh, the hidden innermost point of the soul that's fundamentally connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that there's a part of ourselves that should not have any desire, or any yearnful hope for anything other than connecting my mind to the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Torah and the light of God each and every moment, the light of God that's revealed within the Torah. When a person cultivates this place in their mind, this willingness to throw themselves in with abandonment, Bo el Paro, without knowing how, we can enter into the place of Paro, enter into that place that feels devoid and empty, that place of negative speech, that place of negativity and despondency. And it's specifically there that we have the ability to open up all of the worlds, to open up all of the light, to open up all of the revelations. As the Heilige Vitebsker writes, in Parshas Chayesara, if a person ever comes to tell you that there's any path other than Mesiras Nefesh through which to connect to God, you should tell them that they're lying. There's no other way to ascend up the mountain and to come and see the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu other than by way of Mesiras Nefesh for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because the desire of Hashem is that each and every person should come to uncover the innermost point of the Yechida in the Nefesh, which is the secret of Mesiras Nefesh. But like we said, Mesiras Nefesh l'shem tainug and sha'ashui amuna. It's not far away from us. It's not some distant heavenly truth, but rather it's close to us. It's not far from us to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all of our hearts and every aspect of the self and every aspect of our existence here. And to cultivate a love which is a unity with something and not to deviate in our minds to anything else. Like a person who's contemplating something that they love and yearning after that thing every moment of the day, preoccupied with that thing that they love so much, not redirecting their mind to anything else. It all just matters how much a person truly yearns to connect to that thing. And if a person loves HaKadosh Baruch Hu and cultivates a love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then we can cultivate a craving and a desire for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in that place, we begin to encounter the light of Dveikus to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And every day, says the Rebbe, a person has to truly be honest with themselves, to decide within themselves how much they're willing to actually let go of all of the temptations of this world, all of those machshavos and those demyonos and those desires for this worldliness, and how deeply we can uncover our true desire of a true love and a dveikus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a true way, to really see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to live with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to have a dveikus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the core of whatever it is that's going on in a person's life, to live with the Torah, in the Torah, as the Torah, to retrieve the Bas Melech, which is the Torah itself. Person has to decide upon themselves, how much effort do I really want to do? I'm going to use my Bechira for this today. I'm going to set the controls for the heart of the sun. And even though the snake and the serpent is there, even though Paro is standing right next to me, because anytime anybody decides to enter in room after room to search out for the princess, the lost princess, they're going to encounter Paro standing right there, causing them to be miyayish, telling me I'm never going to complete the job, telling me that I'm distant from the service of God. All that place wants to do is take me away from the Nakuda of truth, to tell me to focus on anything else. But I have to overcome it, and I have to ignore it. I can't be bothered by it. Sitra Achar will allow me to succeed in any spiritual quest so long as I won't access lights of healing Pnimiyas HaTorah, so long as I don't come to believe in the truest depth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. All Paro wants to do, all Amalek wants to do is make us feel weak and tell us that we're unworthy of coming to understand the deep and holiness and the deep truthful holiness that each and every Yid carries, which awakens within us the ability to have a true dveikus to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we have to overcome it with the Koyach of Yosef HaTzadik. We have to overcome it with the Torah of the Tzadikim, especially the Torah of the Arizal, bringing the Torah of the Arizal in new ways, and Darchei HaAvodah. The Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov together, and Rabbeinu together, this das of the Torah that gives us illumination of the face, this is the Torah Chadasha Me'iti Titzei. And this Torah that gives us strength to strengthen ourselves. When we follow the words of the Tzadikim, the Arizal, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbeinu, all of the Tzadikim, we have to believe in what they say. It's a hisnoitzitz, it's a spark of the Torah Vatikas Tima'ah. It's telling us exactly what it says, that we can be happy even when we don't feel happy. We can be strong even when we don't feel strong. Everything is good. Everything is fine. When we live with the Torah of the Tzaddikim, we enter into a place of drawing down this strength. Oh, and it's a very, very deep knowledge. It's a very, very deep form of knowing, a very, very deep way of living with the unity of the Ger, Ze'ev, and Keves, that the wolf and the lamb live together, as Rabbeinu explains in the Das Shel Shalom and Torah Yud Gimel, secret of how even though there's stuckness, nevertheless, I could push forward. Even though I'm weak, I'm strong. Even though I feel distant, I'm close. We have to live with that mind, that das that combines the chasadim and the gvuros, expression and compression, extension and regression, light and vessel, light and darkness, ease and difficulty, Moshe, Paro. We have to have the wisdom to understand the secret of Adam Kadmon, which is the secret of the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light is as present in the world of Atzilus as it is in the worlds of Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah. That Hashem is here in the darkness and the distance as much as He is in the light and the closeness. We have to understand the Shem Tzavakos, which is the secret of Shra Chamishim, which teaches us that there's no symptom and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere revealed. We have to live with this knowledge. We have to search for it over and over and over. Every ounce of concealment is just another opportunity to yearn after it, to search it out, to connect the worlds of separation back to the place of connectivity, and to realize that Hashem wants to do it down here, the Dir B'Tachtonim. But, says the Rebbe, everything depends on our work. Everything depends on the effort that we put in. Because there's so many things in this world, and holiness even, to engage in and to find in our lives. But the main thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking of us is not to follow the Eitzah of Amalek, not to follow the Eitzah of Amalek that says do everything you want except the main thing, but to never forget the main point, which is Yushlaim Yircha Barachim Tashuv Samach David Avdecha Meir Tatzmich. Amalek will give us the ability to connect to everything except the Torah of Atikas Timah, the Torah of Geulah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to bring Geulah. He wants us to bring redemption by way of Pnimiyas HaTorah. And it's forbidden L'Isha Yisraeli to allow their mind to deviate even for a second from the desire for the redemption, for the desire for the revelation of Kavod Hashem and the knowledge of Hashem in this world. And this is all dependent on the levels of the tzaddikim who are willing to throw themselves into the Yamsuf b'Mesiras Nefesh, to open up the Yamad Ayraisa, to allow the words to illuminate the world, not to look to the left or to the right about whether they're going to be successful or not, and to make it dependent on success, not to claim that we're not worthy of such a thing. Especially us, nowadays, we stand so close to that great day, that wondrous day, Hayom HaGadol V'Hanoira, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is finally going to desire to reveal His light down here below, asking of us that we should give ourselves over, throw ourselves into the depth of the Yamad Iraisa, even though we don't know and we don't know what's going to be and we don't know if we're going to have Atzlacha, but rather to rest assuredly and support ourselves upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Rachamim and Chasadim that have always been there for us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help us for the sake of His name to awaken our hearts to believe and to trust in His goodness that has always, always, always been there and will always, always, always been there. And just as it has happened to us in the past through the redemption of the world of Kriyas Yamsuf, through the Shem Ayin Beis, which is the Gematria of Chesed, so too we have to have the confidence and the belief and contemplate deeply the great compassion and kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's always been with us up until right here, right now, and that certainly He'll continue to be with us from this moment forward in a way that's above and beyond any natural order. And that we should merit to cast ourselves off by way of Mesiras Nefesh and to open up and split open the sea of wisdom, the sea of the Torah of Atikas Timah, the light of the Tzaddik. Because in truth, every aspect of the Torah has the ability to be Machayim Esim. It's Lamala Mitam V'das, it's Lamala Midar Chateva, it's the Chachma of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, any ounce of Torah that a person can live with, any ore of Torah Chasidim, Chasidus, and the Arizal, Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh Rabbeinu, that's the ikr, any ounce, the effort that we have, we find HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends down Shefa. That's all we have to do. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give us, and we're going to merit to find within our hearts trustworthiness in the face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, trustworthiness of being connected to the Torah, of remembering Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem, of drawing down the deepest lights in the world, to get rid of the chametz, and to enter into moichin of matzah, to unify our minds to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in every aspect of our existence, to find the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu there, to prepare for Tu B'Shvat, for this revelation, to understand the chashivus in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the yearning that we have for Him, the beginning of growth that we have for Him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should awaken within our hearts to chase after Him, to yearn after Him, and that we shouldn't rest our minds for a moment in this world, but rather we should continuously chase after HaKadosh Baruch Hu, yearn after HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after the true tree, after the true illumination of the Eitz HaChaim, unification of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name above and below, to grasp the dew that descends, to grasp the sap that begins to ascend within the tree, to draw down from the Nachal Hanovea Makor Mayim Chayim, waters that irrigate the soul, waters that illuminate the soul, waters that bring redemption, waters that give chizuk, We should merit B'vias Koyel Tzedek B'mhera B'yameinu Amen. Be'ezras Hashem.